Alright, so we're not going to be doing any of those, like, funny intros or anything. We're just going to be rolling it after I tell you about the sponsor of the video, which is just my merch, as usual. I haven't gotten any real sponsors yet, so I'm going to be the only one for a while. You can pick up the shirts. They're really cool looking. We got the really cool Doing Electric one, the one with the electric going through the arcade stick. There's a limited edition version hoodie that's out. There's only 53 of those available. We've also got the Supreme shirts, the Electric Squad shirts and all that, in red and blue with white and black and whatever other colors on the site. You can go over and check it out over on our merch store, which is linked down in the description. It helps support the channel, and I hope you guys pick one up. I have a couple of them, and I really like this. I really like them. So I hit up Itoki a few months ago and I asked them for an Omni to review on the channel. This is one stick that has been highly requested by quite a few of you guys for the last few years. I believe ever since I started doing the gear review series, like when I started reviewing arcade sticks, people have been asking me to do this one, specifically because this is kind of a well-known stick when it comes to Tekken. It's known in the fighting game community, but it's probably a little more well-known when it comes to Tekken players. This is one of the sticks that was used mainly by Korean players for the longest time. And I see this time and time again. I've been to a bunch of tournaments, and I see this quite a bit at Tekken setups. And there's good reason for that. Now, I specifically asked for the cave version because I've reviewed a lot of Sanwa sticks and Seimitsu's and some Hori sticks on this channel. I've done enough Japanese levers right now. I kind of wanted to mix it up by throwing in a a Korean lever into the mix. And let's see if this stick is worth it. So, let's go over, there's a couple of negatives about it, but I'm going to save those for the end. Let's talk about the things that are good about this stick. One is that it's a Korean lever. It's one of the only sticks on the market that you can buy with a Korean lever installed already. I'm sure you can get them custom from like Jason's Customs and a couple other places, but as far as it goes, just out of the box, this is one of the only sticks that has it pre-installed. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the Taeyong Fanta lever. I may be wrong on that, I'll correct it if it is wrong, but I do have to say, this is one of my favorite Korean levers to play on. I've been a Korean lever player for about 4 or 5 years now, and I started with the 303 FK, and then I went to the 307, and I'm currently playing on the 309 Help Me lever, which is over on that Android 21 stick. It is the full collared version. I also have played on the one that's Sanwa compatible, and I've also played on a couple others like the Kaze lever. The Fanta in this happens to be probably my second favorite Korean lever that I've tried out. I haven't tried all of them out, but this happens to be pretty up there. It's about number 2 on my favorite levers to play on. It's pretty responsive, it's not too tight, it's not too loose. It's not as tight as I like it on the 309, but, you know, it's almost there. Now, if you don't know the difference between Korean and Japanese levers, I won't go into a super detailed analysis of the two, but I'll just say is that this right here, this little collar that sticks up out of stick, that's your gate. It has a silicone restrictor pad instead of a spring, and that's pretty much how it achieves the same thing as a Japanese lever does. It's usually more tight, more responsive, to me at least, and it has a circle gate, so if you're not familiar with that, it may not be for you. You have to kind of know where the corners are to play a Korean lever, I think. Moving on from that, the other good thing that it does have is that it has Sanwa buttons. So I believe there used to be a Korean and a Japanese version, and the Korean version used to have Korean buttons, and then there used to be a Sanwa version with the lever and buttons from Sanwa. And I'm not sure, I haven't played too many Korean buttons, but I don't know which ones were on that revision. This is the 7th revision, I believe. And, I mean, it's a good thing that they finally combined the two. I don't know which revision they did that in, but they're Sanwa buttons, they're good. They also fit with the theme of the stick, as the black out the black plunger with the gray cap. They're pretty good. Sanwas are always really good. The thing that I like more, I'm getting my... I can't talk. The thing that I like more is the fact that it is set up in probably my favorite button layout ever on an arcade stick, and this is the Namco Noir setup. If you don't know what that is, go look at a Tekken cabinet like Tekken 5 cab, Tekken 6, Tag 2, Tekken 7, and you'll see the buttons that are arranged in this way. I do like the Noir setup the most, mainly because I think it is the most ergonomic for your hand. Your hand kind of falls more naturally in the Noir setup. The other one that I like the most is whatever the Astro City cab is, that layout. I don't think it's the Velix. I want to say it might be. I can't remember right now off the top of my head, but this is my favorite setup. So it has good buttons, and it has my favorite button layout of any arcade stick configuration. So those are two really good things about it. The other thing, the artwork is pretty easy to change out. You would just, you open it up, and I'll show you how to open this up in a second in the B-roll. But it comes off, the Itoki and all the writing is on the actual body of the stick. So if you want to put artwork, you're not going to have Itoki or Omni or any writing interfering with your artwork, which is pretty good. You just take off the 6 screws, you open it in the back, and you can pull the whole thing off with the buttons after you disconnect them. The one thing that I do like about modding artwork on K-sticks, as opposed to the Japanese ones, is usually you don't have to pull the ball top off or the bat top. You can just kind of pull it out, and the stick can stay in place, because the hole that this goes in is a lot wider than the K-stick. So with Japanese ones, you have to typically unscrew the ball top off, and then you can pull the plexi off and put your artwork on. The other good thing about it is that it is a heavy case. This thing weighs a good amount. It's probably a good 8 pounds, I want to say 6 pounds. And it is it's a solid metal case. There's nothing more I can say about that. I like solid metal for my cases, other than very hard plastics. This is a really good alternative. It's a brushed aluminum, I believe, and you know, powder coated, or not brushed, powder coated, I mean. I'm getting everything mixed up. This is what happens when you do stuff in one go. But this is a powder coated black aluminum case. At least I believe it is aluminum. I didn't really look up the specs too much before I did this video. But yeah, this is it's very heavy, it's very durable. And I think it will destroy the floor before it gets destroyed by any sort of throwing that you might do to it. The other good thing about it is that it is easily moddable. The thing comes apart pretty easy. It's 7 screws on the bottom, and it separates into 2 halves. And on the top half, everything is mounted to it. You have a Brook PS4 fighting board, which is one of my favorite boards. I love Brook products. I use the Universal Fight board, as well as the, what is that? The retro board in that stick back there. And I have another one that's lying around that I'm going to use for another project in the future. Hey Brooke, if you wanna help me out here, and I'll do builds with them, you know, hit me up. I do like your products. Anyway, the buttons and the stick are pretty easy to mod. This thing is mod friendly if you are into doing that sort of thing. I also believe that if you want to switch to a Japanese lever, it's pretty easy. You would just get a plexi that fits for Japanese. I'm not entirely too sure how it works, but this is the K version, so I'm just going to be going off what the K version is. So before I get into the negatives, we're just going to go with all the things that are... Shit, I lost track of what I was going to say. Before I go into the couple of negatives that I have about this stick, I'm just going to go and cut to some gameplay of me executing stuff on video games with this stick, just so you can kind of see what it's like playing on the thing. I do this in every video, I don't know why. I'm trying to add some more stuff to these videos, so I'm gonna cut to that, and we'll be back, and I'll give you what I don't like about the stick, as well as some of the final thoughts about this stick. So yeah, as you can see, while I'm doing demos of combos and movement and all the things like that in Tekken 7 and DOA, there is really no input lag. I don't feel any, especially any added on top of Tekken 7 and DOA 6. This is on the PS4 version of these games, and they are known to have a pretty big amount of input delay, so the board really isn't adding anything that's noticeable to my testing. I will try and get some more software and some other hardware to try and test input delays in the future, but right now it's just going to be me telling you what it is from feel. Alright, so now that you've seen execution and combos and movement on the Omni, I'm going to get down to a couple of the things that I consider fairly big negatives about the stick. The first thing is that the cable, this cable, it just sits out here like this. There is no cable compartment for it, and it feels a little, I don't know, it feels a little not premium, the cable, for what you're paying for the stick. So the one thing that I hate the most out of anything is wrapping the cable around the arcade stick. I feel that eventually with enough, if you're a regular tournament player, if you're going around and competing or just going to friends' houses all the time, it's gonna break. This thing is not gonna last you. And really, there is enough space in this stick for you to be able to fit something like that right up here, right up at the top. There would be enough space for you to put a cable compartment that could fit the stick. Hell, this is a Brook board. You could get a new trick and do a quick disconnect. Sure, you really wouldn't have anywhere to put the cable, but at least you wouldn't be damaging the cable as badly over time. The other really big negative that I have about this thing is that on the back, there is no, and let me see if I can get it in the right light, there is no anti-slip material like you would get on most other arcade sticks at this price point in the current gen market. That is also pretty bad, as not everybody really likes to play on a tabletop. I'm one of those people that does, but I do play on my lap on occasion when I don't have the room for the table mate that you guys see in my videos, and the thing slips really easy off of my lap. That is why I don't like sticks that don't have the anti-slip material. It sounds like a nitpick, but it's really not. This is a pretty big feature that should be on every arcade stick at this point, especially when you're paying the same price for this stick as you would an Obsidian or a Razer Panthera or a TES Plus, or just any of those sticks that are popular at the moment. So those are two pretty big negatives. And when it comes down to it, do I recommend this stick with those negatives and all the good things about it? Not the Sanwa version. The Sanwa version is just $200, a premium. It's an enthusiast level arcade stick that doesn't have any features that a lot of other sticks in this price point does when it comes to the Sanwa version. I feel if you're going to be buying an Omni, you're buying it for the Korean version, which is a little more justifiable because making your own arcade stick that has a Korean lever is going to cost you $300 plus. That one right there, the Mate stick, IST case, Android 21 Korean stick that I have, that did cost me about $300 with all the parts put together. A little bit more now that it has a Brook retro board in there. So if you want one that has a real Korean lever in it for $200, that's more justifiable, but it's really up to you. If it is your first arcade stick, I would look at the other options, because you might want to try Japanese levers out and you might want to switch parts in and out real easy, and the Razer Panthera is perfect for that. And you can also put in Korean levers, the short shaft Japanese compatible ones, if you want to try and get a feel for them. That's what I did at first before getting real Korean lever sticks. And yeah, that's probably all I have to say on that. It's really up to you. You should decide what you really want before you go and buy something like this. And for me, it was a buy. It would have been an easy buy for me, just because I like Korean sticks and I already know that this is going to have everything that I want in it. That's my thoughts on the Omni. And if you did like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it the, what to do. You can comment down below what you want to see reviewed, stick, buttons, levers, whatever. I do have another review that I'm working on currently. And yeah, you can get subscribed and hit the bell icon just to see more videos like this and in the future, as well as some other fighting game related stuff. We have the merch store, we have all that stuff. We're on Twitch. Go watch us on Twitch. We're playing video games almost all the time over there. And yeah, with that, I'm going to roll the end credits. Take care, everybody. And again, thanks to Itoki for sending me this arcade stick. I really appreciate it. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you in the next big review, which you won't want to miss.